Ellie for
Reading in my YouTube channel. Through with Head Bellies. First
stands for From Ellie's Roots, and Head Belly stands for books. So we're gaining some new platforms coming up this year, and my goal is 52 books. But today we're at Lynden City Park in the middle of Lynden, Washington, and I am preparing soon for this summer to go for a trip to visit my father, who has some health stuff going on. And I thought this book would be perfect. While my kids are at the park playing, I should read a few. So I've been getting into the award book winners, and this one is a Caldecott honor book. The Relatives Came. Story by Cynthia Ryland, illustrated by Stephen Gamel, narrated by Ellie. The Relatives Came. You gotta fix it. Always makes me wonder.
What do people think when they hear me reading out and about? I always wonder, because this has been a small, long-growing process. So, The Relatives Came by Cynthia Ryland. I love that I never pre-read anything, so it's like a new experience. Every book is so fresh. It was in the summer of the year when the relatives came. They came from Virginia. They left when their grapes were nearly purple enough to pick, but not quite. They had an old station wagon that smelled like a real car, and in it they put an ice chest full of soda pop and some boxes of crackers and some bologna sandwiches, and up they came from Virginia. They left at 4 in the morning when it was still dark, before even the birds were awake. The mailbox is so over. They drove all day long and into the night. And while they traveled along, they looked at the strange houses in different mountains, and they thought about their almost purple grapes back home. They thought about Virginia, but they thought about us too, waiting for them. Traveling. I cannot wait to go home and see my sister and my dad and my mom, maybe my brothers and their kids. So they drank up all their pop and ate up all their crackers and traveled up all those miles until finally they pulled into our yard. Then it was hugging time. Talk about hugging. Those relatives just passed us all around their car, pulling us against their wrinkled Virginia clothes, crying sometimes. They hugged us for hours. Relatives. They're so lovely. Then it was into the house, and so much laughing and shining faces and hugging in the doorways. You'd have to go through at least 4 different hugs to get from the kitchen to the front room. Those relatives. And finally, after a big supper, 2 or 3 times around until we all got a turn at the table, there was quiet talk, and we were in 2s and 3s through the house. Sweet dinner. The relatives weren't particular about beds, which was good, since there weren't any extras, so a few squeezed in with us, and the rest slept on the floor. some with their arms thrown over their closest person, or some with an arm across one person and a leg across another. It was different, going to sleep with all that new breathing in the house. So fun. I cannot wait.
Well, how'd you get here?
The relatives stayed for weeks and weeks. They helped us tend the garden and they fixed broken things they could find. Even haircuts, which I can't wait to do. They ate up all our strawberries and melons, then promised we could eat up all their grapes and peaches when we came to Virginia. They even make music. Cute. But none of us thought about Virginia much. We were so busy hugging and eating and breathing together. Picture time. Finally, after a long time, the relatives loaded up their ice chest and headed back to Virginia at 4 in the morning. We stood there in our pajamas and waved them off in the dark. We watched our relatives disappear down the road. Then we crawled back into our beds that felt too big and too quiet. We fell asleep. Check out that moon. And the relatives drove on all day long and into the night. And while they traveled along, they looked at the strange houses and different mountains, and they thought about their dark purple grapes waiting at home in Virginia. But they thought about us too, missing them. And they missed us. They're traveling home. So cute. It's true. We always hug when we say goodbye. And when they were finally home in Virginia, they crawled into their silent, soft beds and dreamed about the next summer. The relatives are coming. Oh, the relatives came. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe.